This is a song that written by a dear friend of mine, Dave Eggebraaten. He's gone on to be with the Lord about 2 years ago. We used to talk about every month, and he's written probably hundreds of songs. And he's given me several of his songs that I've put on my repertoire. And this song here, I vision going to an old country church. How many have been out in the country and seen an old country church maybe that was all closed down? And this is the old country church.
I pulled off a two-lane highway on a dusty trail one day, where a rusty sign was leaning on a post to point the way. For the sign was badly faded, it said country church 1 mile, and I thought I'd go and see it and would rest there for a while. When I pulled into the driveway where the grass had grown so high, and I looked at that old steeple that still pointed to the sky. All the paint had long departed and the door had from one hinge, and I wondered about the people and the way it must have been. As the people came to worship and to sing Amazing Grace, and the preacher who had preached there in that solitary place. Of the people who got married and the people now passed on, as I stood there in the silence, I could almost hear their song. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, how I love Jesus, because he first loved me. As I stepped into the building, something ran across the floor, and I looked at those old benches no one sat on anymore. In the corner was a piano with some dust upon its keys, and a hymn book standing open filled my mind with memories of the people who had lived there and had sung Amazing Grace, and the preacher who had preached there in that solitary place. Of the people who got married and the people now passed on, as I stood there in the silence, I can almost hear their song. Precious memories, how they linger, how they ever flood my soul. In the stillness of the midnight, precious sacred scenes unfold. Then I noticed that the altar had begun to fall apart, and I wondered who had knelt there and asked Jesus in their heart. The old pulpit still was standing with the Bible worn by age, and although the church was empty, I found truth on every page. Though the people now are missing and the building needs repair, yet I still could feel the presence of the Lord that lingered there. So beside the broken altar I gave thanks for what was done in that old church in the country, for the souls that had been won. There's a church